Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Zibs, and welcome to a different kind of video. This here is going a Wildfrost charm tier list. Doing this because we just hit 100 subscribers. Thank you all so much for that. It honestly, I feel kind of. I definitely was not expecting in like just my first year of YouTube to already have hit 100 subscribers. It feels pretty cool, and I'm very thankful for that. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for commenting, liking, subscribing. Thank you all so much. But right now, we got a Wildfrost charm tier list. So currently, let me head over to Steam real quick. I currently have 173.9 hours in Wildfrost. And so I would say that I am decently experienced. I'm decently experienced enough to form my own opinion on what charms I think are worth your time and what charms I think are worth staying in the garbage. This whole video is gonna be unscripted, just me giving my thoughts on each of the charms and how I think you can, giving some tips and tricks on how to use them. And yeah, if you guys are excited for this kind of videos and happy and ready to celebrate 100 subscribers on this channel, make sure to like and or comment and or subscribe. Make sure to share this video with your best friend or greatest enemy, and let's do this. Alright, so first up we got oh wait, actually I should talk about my criteria, what my criteria with my tiers are. So for our tiers, we have S tier, which are charms that when you find them, you're like extremely likely to just win with them. Just extremely likely. You are eating good when you find these charms. And you are like, because you get the right combo with these charms, and your run is just you play cards and you win. Excellent charms are close to as good as the S tier charms. It's just that they can't carry your run on their own, but they're definitely very excellent. B charms are solid charms that are very easy to splash on, not super situational, or if they are situational, their situations are common and strong enough. Fine charms are charms that you can take and that when you receive you're not too mad, well, depending on the situation. You're not too mad to see them, and yeah, they're generally just fine. D tier charms are where the charms start actually getting bad. D tier charms are either underpowered or situational, and same goes for F tier, except it's just much worse, that they only have like only one application where they can shine, or no applications and they're just dog shit. Alrighty, let's get started. So first up, we got Acorn Charm. So with Acorn Charm, I'm gonna organize with all the HP boosting charms in the game, that being I'm missing one, Hog Charm. That being Shell Charm, Health Charm, Heart Charm, Raspberry Charm, Strawberry Charm, and Hog Charm. All of these charms are excellent. All of these are going to A tier, because they're all good for the same reason, that they're all excellent forms of survivability. They're all just great forms of survivability. Actually, I think I'll put Raspberry Charm at the top of B tier, because it is a pretty small effect what it does, but it's a very good effect. 3 HP, 1 attack. 3 HP is better survivability than you would think it would be. Like I've had runs with Raspberry Charm where like I would have just completely died without Raspberry Charm. The 3 HP can actually really make a difference, and 1 attack is also pretty nice. Strawberry Charm is Strawberry Charm I don't think a lot of people would, like, expect for me to put this into A tier, but I think Strawberry Charm is, like, possibly one of the most underrated charms in the game. This charm is great late game, and so with these kind of give to a card, consume, because there's two of those charms in the game. The other one is Boonfire Charm, which we'll be talking about later. These kind of charms, they have the issue of it's hard to play them in the early game because you don't always have a good card you don't always have a good consume card to get them to, but they have the benefit. But the difference between the two of them is Strawberry Charm is really good in the late game, especially since if you put this on like a Molten Dip or any kind of consume card that you're illuminating, that's 4 HP to your whole squad, which is really good. That's upward of like 8. That can potentially be like 12 HP if you have 3 units receiving it. Or God forbid you have 4, so it's like 16 HP across your whole squad, which is really good. And even if you just have 2 units with like an unlumen or uncriticaled Strawberry Charm, it's 2 HP to like 2 units is still 4 HP, which, as I mentioned with Raspberry Charm, that HP can really make a difference. So it's just it's really nice. And all these and the other 3 are kind of just the same case. They give you HP. Also, I should mention this whole tier list is ordered. So Acorn is better than Hog, and Hog is better than Heart, and Heart is better than Strawberry Charm. It's pretty self-explanatory here. Acorn gives the most shield. Hog gives the second most, Acorn gives the most health and shield. It's basically the exact same as health. Effectively. There's only the only difference between the two is with, what's the card I'm thinking of? Nutshell Cake, I'm pretty sure. Nutshell Cake, where it takes away from your HP, so you won't be able to play it on. So if you have like a Blunky that you give Shell Charm, you still won't be able to play Nutshell Cake on that unit, on that Blunky. But besides that, they're basically the same, and 8 HP is better. Definitely is still better than 7 HP, especially since you don't have Hog-Headed. Hog-Headed on Hog Charm it's very rarely. Hog-Headed very rarely ever comes into play because you are rarely recalling your units. The only unit in the game you don't want to put this on is Bomb Bomb, because there is actually quite a bit. You will often actually be recalling Bomb Bomb so she doesn't blow herself up. So yeah, that's pretty good. So yeah, and HP Charm, any unit in the game can hold this. It can be on, you can put it on your leader so they don't die. You can put it on your main tank so they live longer. And you can even put this on your offensive units so they can be, so they're less likely to die. Because if your offensive unit dies, you're in trouble. Yeah, that's those charms out of the way. Next up, we got Balance Charm. Balance Charm is not great, but I will be putting it in fine tier. So previously, when I first made this tier list, I put Balance Charm in D tier, but that's when I realized it actually has a lot more targets than I thought it did. Because there isn't just, fucking what else? Because I used to thought it was like just Yuki and Foxy, but then I realized there's Fizzle, there's Fizzle, who else is there? There's Chompom, there's Chompom, there's also some other really good one. There's Tiny Tycho, who holds this excellently, and there's also Mini Mika, who, even though Mini Mika's losing 5 HP from this, 2 turn counter on Mini Mika, -2 turn counter on Mini Mika is, ooh, that's really strong. Super duper strong. Yeah, but the problem with Balance Charm, which is why it's gonna, when we finish this tier list, it's gonna be at the lower side of C tier, is you can only play it if you play it on any unit besides the one I mentioned, it is either really dicey or completely unplay or a complete joke. Like, are you gonna put this like on a Nom and Stompy and just completely remove its entire identity? Just make it like a 3/3 who can like maybe attack kind of fast. Yeah, you can't really. And I've tried runs where like you put this on a Shen or some other unit that you want to attack fast, and you don't really, or like you're kind of like you're putting everything into like that -1 turn counter, because -1 turn counter, which is what this charm will be able to do for you, is extremely good. -1 turn counter is one of the best effects in the game. It is so good for any offensive unit, because turn counter is everything in this game. Your timing of your turns, your enemy turn counter to the enemy turn, your allies turn counter is just, it's so important to getting good at this game. And just having a unit that attacks fast just makes it's incredible. However, a lot of the times, Balance Charm just ends up being a charm you can't give anything to, because it's either they already have lower than 3 turn counter and they don't want to have their attack and health be turned to 3, or they can have their stuff reduced, but it's way too costly, it's way too costly, so that's why it's going to be at the bottom of C tier. Next up, we got Battle Charm. Battle Charm is going right next to Raspberry Charm. Just one of the most solid, just plus 2 attack, extremely solid. Any unit that's going to be dealing damage, it will absolutely appreciate a Battle Charm. Very, very good. Very, very nice. Not much to say with it. It's one of the most simplest charms in the game. Just slap this on anything and it's gonna be a little bit better. Bite Charm, or Teeth Charm. Now, Bite Charm has an interesting history to it. When Wildfrost first came out, this was 4 teeth. Well, right now it's 3 teeth. The reason they did that nerf was not because like the charm on its own was too strong. Even then, it was kind of still. Also, I will just say this is going in. Actually, this is either going in the bottom of B tier or the top of C tier, because with the bell that made it so enemies receive charms. There is nothing scarier in this game than an enemy with Teeth Charm. Teeth Charm is, especially before it was 4 teeth. Before it was like nerfed to 3 teeth, it was the scariest charm in the game. And I know, I especially know, because I've done a run in this game where a modded run of this game where my leader was Shen. But it also had the caveat of all charmed enemies had Teeth Charm, and it was a fucking nightmare. And I still won that run. You should go check out that video. It's really good. One of my proudest videos. Where's this going? Oh wait, well no, yeah, it's going in C tier. But yeah, interesting history, Teeth Charm. As for the charm itself, while it's at 3 teeth and you can put it on your units, it's fine. It very much is just fine. In fact, while I'm here, we're gonna put Tiger Charm right next to it, because they both basically are the same thing. Tiger Charm has the advantage. So Tiger Charm has the advantage of like possibly being able to like scale really quickly and being better for like all-out teeth builds, which are rare. So which are pretty rare. I've only had like a couple that I've gotten to work, but Tiger Charm is good for them, and Teeth Charm is better on average. Now, these are the application that makes these 2 charms very good is against hogs. Using these clears out hogs very easily, and they're also pretty easy to slap on any tank. I think I will put them in solid. I think I will put them at the bottom of B tier, and I think I'll put Tiger Charm over Bite Charm. Next up, we got Blink Charm. Blink Charm is probably one of my least used charms in the game, but I feel like it's underrated. Because money is really important in this game. And just having a lot of money can make things very easy. That's why Bling Bank is probably the best card to see early. The best card to see early, the best early game card that falls off later, along with cards like Pom Bomb. But yeah, this money super good. You can just buy all the charms you want. You can just roll a bunch of charms. You can buy all the crowns you want. It's very good. The only problem with it is it doesn't actually contribute anything to like the unit. When you put this on a unit, it doesn't actually contribute to that unit's effectiveness. Hold up, actually, I'm going to... how's the music in the background sounding? I'm gonna turn up the music a little bit. I changed my mind. Need to just look at my OBS audio settings. It's still pretty loud. I probably should have done audio tests. Okay, where are we at the video? We're at 16 minutes. Alright. So, Bling Charm, the problem is when you put this on a unit, you're not actually, like, enhancing that unit's ability in any way. And this also has to be on, like, your offensive unit, which... because that unit is going to be the one getting kills, and a lot of the times it's hard to fit this on because you're sacrificing one charm slot, which is often a pretty big deal. Yeah, but overall I think this charm's fine. I'm going to put it below. I'm going to put it above Balance Charm. Just money's really good, but it also falls off very hard late game, to where you're basically just basically a dud charm slot. But early game, the money's super nice, especially if you can actually. Block Charm. Block Charm's weird to me, cause Block Charm on paper. Block Charm is probably a charm I should give more respect, but I don't. So it's going into C tier. I just never felt like it was that good. I would always much rather have it a health charm or any of the health charms over Block Charm. The problem is it's basically a less consistent form of sustain. It's inconsistent because you need it to be able, because the one block you're gaining from it, you need to block a big hit to make it worth it. So you need to be able to block like a Frost Bomber attack or something like, what else has a lot of attack? Yeah, it mainly just goes up to 5 now I'm thinking about it. There's rarely any actually attack that goes up to 5 unless on third. So it's like certain like Frost Brigade setups, but like not a lot of units that have base stat that have 5 at base. So, and like the problem is, so with Block Charm, if you're not blocking for 5, you're basically I don't know, maybe I am convinced because I have told myself that like 2 HP is still good. So even if you just block a 2 HP hit, a 2 attack, it's probably, I don't know, I've never had Block Charm feel that good, but it is probably better than I give it credit. I'm gonna move it up to B tier. I'll move it to B tier. Next up, we got Bomb Skull Charm. Ooh, this is a very, very good charm. Bomb Skull Charm says when a unit dies, deal 8 damage to the entire enemy row. This is extremely good early. One of the best charms you can. early charms you can see, there's a lot of units that just absolutely eat this charm up. Specifically in Shademancers. In Shademancers, you have... Well, okay, the thing is, so in the other two clans, you have Woodhead, who holds this very easily. And you have Junkhead, who still holds it pretty well, who still holds it very well. And you don't start with a clunker in Shademancers, but you do have Chikichi and Egg, who hold this extremely well. Just like, because 8 damage to a whole row is just, it's so good. It kills so many things. Kills Makokos, kills pretty much anything in Act 1. Kills severely chunks like a lot of things mid-game. Like anything, it destroys destroys Grinks. It destroys things in truffle fights. It is just great. It's great backline. It will just put this on a unit, and it will do on a unit that you can just sacrifice, and you will get excellent results. Next up, we got Bomb Charm. Bomb Charm is curious. I feel like I've seen Bomb Charm might be one of my least seen charms in the game, but it is. So the thing with Bomb Charm is that it feels like you kind of need to put this on. You kind of need to put this on something with Frenzy, like Foxy or Fizzle or Blunky or Gnome. Something that's going to be attacking a lot, that is going to benefit from like applying a lot of bomb to the enemy. Cause you could also put it on like maybe a barrage unit, like a jumbo, and it could probably be okay. I don't know. I honestly feel like I don't see this charm enough to have like a really strong opinion on it. But I think I will slot it right next to Battle Charm. It feels like it fulfills the kind of similar purpose of Battle Charm, where it's like a good little like boost to your damage. It's pretty good on a lot of things. Nothing really hates a Battle Charm. So next up, we got Boonfire Charm. Boonfire is interesting. So when I posted this tier list, so I posted the finished tier list in a couple servers, like the Wildfrost server and Voixis server. And the most common placement I was asked on is why I put Boonfire in D tier. Now let me explain why I think Boonfire is not very good. So the most common argument I hear on why Boonfire Charm is good is, hey, you can just slap it on any consumed card and it's free damage. Well, thing about that is that so let's compare this to Strawberry Charm. Strawberry Charm can be 4 HP or 2 HP to all your units, while the overburn you get from Boonfire, since it's such a small amount, you're really not going to be like expecting any like crazy like massive like overburn explosions. Okay, I'm gonna skip this song in the background because like the sounds are distracting me. Yeah. The next issue with Boonfire Charm is that HP, the HP you get from Strawberry is much more helpful, is on average much more helpful and is good for like almost pretty much the entire run, while Boonfire Charm falls off heavily in the late game. Like, are you really like gonna see 2 damage with basically 2 damage, maybe 4 damage to all like the Frost Brigade and tell me, yeah, this is a really good charm? Like it's extremely meh. Now, what if you Because the thing is, damage is small points of damage are not good, are much worse compared to small points of health. Just because enemies have massive HP. Enemies have massive HP bars, but pretty small attack stats, so being able to survive for longer is gonna do you a lot better than just trying to kill them super fast. You're just trying to like chip them down with like small bits of damage. So then I thought, what about the early game? This charm, 2 damage to all enemies in like the early and early mid game. That can be pretty decent. Well, the problem is, and I mentioned this with Strawberry Charm, the problem is you don't always have you don't always have that kind of charm or that kind of consume card that like a good consume card like a snow cake, a Nimblin biscuit, a molten dip that you can give Boonfire to. So, and the other issue is that kind of like early game niche being put onto a charm is not very good. Is kind of bad because you're only going to see like maybe 1 to 2 charms in your early game. Now, I mentioned this. Now, Bomb Skull Charm also has the same issue, but Bomb Skull Charm is fucking like, it's like good. It's still good. It's like good throughout the entire run. It falls off a little bit on Final Fight, but it's still really good. Well, Boonfire falls off like immediately. Boonfire immediately falls off a cliff because 2 damage, again, like 2 damage to all enemies is not very much. Even if it's free, it's not very much. It's pretty much negligible. So you're seeing like 1 to 2 charms in your early game, and while like the most of the charms you are going to be seeing are going to be past the first boss, or the act is going to be past the first like big boss, your Bamboozle and your Infernoco, where at that point Boonfire already starts to fall off. So yeah, very rarely you can ever play this charm when it's good in the early game. It falls off extremely hard, and even though it's free. And okay, my last point is you need to remember something with all these charms. A charm just being okay, you could basically free, is bad because, or basically free and like, oh, you don't, it has like a minor effect, but it's basically a free minor effect. That's not good for a charm, because charms you have to like go out of your way to get, because you either have to visit them on the notes or spend money to see them. So you don't want to be seeing like basically just like minor effects. You want big effects from your charms. You want substantial effects on your charms. So I guess it's also, I now that I've convinced talking about that, I'm gonna move Blink Snail. I'm gonna move Blink Snail Charm under Bounce Charm. I still think it's like its niche is better throughout a run than Boonfire, but yeah, I've convinced myself to move it a bit lower. Probably gonna be at the bottom of C tier at the end of this list. All right, Red Charm, F tier. Any questions? I don't know what they were thinking. What the hell is the point of giving a card consume? No, there's one tiny, like, minor use case of this charm. And that's on Lumen Vase on the final fight, that's on Lumen Vase, because, like, if you have a build where you have Crowned Lumen Vase and you only plan on putting it on, like, 1 unit, like your Shen, or your Wart, or whatever kind of, like, leader run you're doing, or maybe you're doing something with Truffle Charm, you can put this on Lumen Vase, and then Lumen Vase exhausts, and it basically gets rid of your deck, because after you play Lumen Vase, it is kind of a dead card, because you don't want to switch Lumen Vase around, so it does get rid of get it out of your deck, which makes your deck a little bit smaller. But still, I don't know if that's worth it on Final Fight where you're buffing Frost Junker. This charm is complete F tier. I need to say no more. Next one, Cake Charm, S tier. Any questions? Oh man, this is one of the most hype charms in the game. I absolutely love Cake Charm. Cake Charm. So basically, Cake Charm is, in my opinion, a close to an auto win on two of the clan, on Snow Dwellers and Shade Masters, because you have Snow Dwellers. You start with Flame Water, so you have a 6. So you have a 6 attack consume that you get to give to like your Foxy or your Blunky or like your Barrage Leader, which is extremely good. Then you also have, and in Shade Masters you have Berry Bell, so and 6 HP Barrage to your 6 HP Barrage is incredible sustain, especially if you Lumen Vase it or give it critical. It's so good. It's incredible sustain. Possibly one of the best forms of sustain in the game. But yeah, it's very good. And even in Shade Masters, or even in Cloak Masters, where you don't start with like a auto win card, you still have stuff like what am I thinking? What's the Bomb? Why am I forgetting? It's the card that gives 1 Frenzy for Bomb. If you give that card, it becomes 7 Frenzy, which you could Lumen Vase to make it get 14 Frenzy. You are making it so that unit dies because dies in any hit because you're giving it 27. You're giving it 27 Bomb. But sorry. But forehead, you have a unit with 27 Frenzy. You should just be able to kill everything before that unit is remotely threatened. Yeah, it's Cake Charm, absolutely disgusting. You also have stuff like, have stuff like Bink, where like you're basically perma silencing the whole board. You have, what else? You have Molten Booster, Magma Booster, so which behaves the same way as Flame Water. It's fucking insane. This charm's disgusting. Possibly the best charm in the game. It possibly is the best charm in the game. I think it might be the best charm in the game. Cake Charm lets you have your cake and eat it too. It's insane. Next up, Chuckle Charm. Chuckle Charm is gonna go into B tier. Chuckle Charm is interesting. So this is one of the best charms to see early. Or see early or after or in your first boss or wards. Because you see this and you basically can change how you play the rest of that run. Where you just like search out charms to put on one unit to make that unit just extremely overpowered. Now, the problem with Chuckle Charm is that it's kind of like a doer. There's a couple times where you see it and it's just kind of a bust. Where you don't see enough good charms in your run to like want to put them all on one unit. And you don't see, or you see it too late and you don't, it's like, this is the last charm you see in your run and you just can't do anything with it. And you're just like not able to do anything with it. It's a dead charm. So it is often a dead charm, but in other cases it's possibly the best charm in the game. Sometimes a dud, sometimes the best. Which I think puts it in like some near the middle of the tier list. It's funny cuz when this game first came out, Chuckle Charm was seen as like the worst charm in the game cuz it could like often cuz like people low rolled it with it a couple times and declared that it was bad. But no, Chuckle Charm, very solid. Next up, Cloudberry Charm. This might be a little unexpected, but I'm putting this in F tier. Chuckle Charm, So, not Tickle Charm. Cloudberry Charm is it's extremely underpowered. So, for healing for 2 HP is actually a good effect. But the problem is healing HP is actually not healing HP has a problem to it where your unit has to be injured in the first place in order to benefit from healing. Unlike HP Charm where you can just slap it on it and you get that, or with Pinkberry Juice where you just use it on a unit and you get that sustain. It don't have to be injured. And the bigger issue with Cloudberry Charm is that it's an on-kill effect, which one has the issue of it's nearly useless on final fights. On Frost Brigade, because you at most are gonna get 5 kills, and if you do get 5 kills, you've already won. So it's like, you maybe are gonna get like one. So you're maybe gonna get like one trigger from this one substantial trigger from this, which is not good. And it also has the problem of what else the problem does it have? And it also has the problem where previously mentioned with your units have to be injured. You need to play this on an offensive unit that's going to be getting kills in order to get and your offensive units are not going to be one taking the damage. Your tanks are going to be the one taking damage. So, and your tank, if you put this on a tank, it's really going to struggle to get that kill. Now, there is one unit in this game that functions as a tank and a damage dealer that actually does benefit a lot from Cloudberry, and that's Bomb Bomb. Although, like, the problem with that idea is that, like, pretty much every charm that doesn't, like, anti-synergize with Bomb Bomb's effect is good on Bomb Bomb. Like, Hog-Headed is actually really bad on Bomb Bomb, but, like, Bomb Charm, you got stuff like, Demonized Charm is really good. Durian Charm is run winning. You have, like, what else do you have? Moose Charm's really solid. Attack Charm is really solid. Spice Charm's really solid. Any charm in this game is just really solid. Pretty much, there's so many charms in this game that are really solid. Fairy Charm, to name another one. So just like, and it's also just like, even without charms, Bomb Bomb is the best unit in the game. Like, no question in my mind, Bomb Bomb is just fucking busted. Bomb Bomb is the best. So, yeah. This is staying, besides that, it's just, the effect is not substantial enough. It's hard to trigger the effect because on-kill effects are hard to work with. And it's a very dud charm. It's very hard to get value out of, and even when you do, it's not that good. Next up, we got Critical Charm. Critical Charm is going into the A tier. Critical Charm, incredibly good. Now, I think Critical as an effect is honestly kind of bad, because it's very hard to, like, get to work. However, the difference because you have two critical items, two cards with critical in the game. You have Snowzuka and Clockwork Bomb. Clockwork Bomb is very decent. It's just a very decent, but Snowzuka being only one card and only applying 2 snow and very rarely applying 4 is part of the reason why Clunk Masters to me feels like the worst clan in the game. They're bad at applying snow. But so the thing about those is even when you do hit is you rarely hit critical, and you could always hit critical with them if you crowned them, but there's much better cards to crown in the game. Critical Charm, on the other hand, you get to choose what has critical, so you can put it on like You literally can put it on anything in this game. You can put it on your berry. You could put it on your pink berry. You could put it on a pink berry juice. You could put it on your molten dip. You can put it on, hell, snow cake if you really just want to permalock an enemy. You can put it on any card with snow cake. You can put it on I don't know. Those are the main ones coming to mind, but there's a lot of others. This charm is good because critical charm is good because crowns exist, because it means you are consistently able to get at least one critical effect, which can completely change which completely changes how a fight operates in Wildfrost if you're able to get a critical off. It's just, yeah, and being able to do that on any card you want is just, it's really good. Durian Charm. Once again, another A-tier another unit in another A-tier charm. Oh god, this is one of the best, extremely good charm. Cause one, if you get like Bomb, Plinker, Slapcrackers, okay, well, the exception of Slapcrackers, Plinker or Bomb, you win the run. You pretty much win the run, because Bomb becomes a massive 200 HP, becomes a 20 HP wall. And Plinker becomes the best offensive unit in the game with Durian Charm. But this is also just good on any card that or unit you don't care about the effect of, or don't have effect. Like, it's great on Foxy, it's great on Blunky, it's great on Gnome. I feel like I'm gonna mention those three a lot. It's good on Fizzle. It's great on like almost any leader. Hell, it's good on Wart, because 4 attack is so much attack that because it's pretty much just worth getting rid of Wart's effect. Getting rid of Wart's like effect to deal that 4 damage. It's very good charm. The only reason it's not S tier is because you can't put it on everything. So there is times where this is just gonna end up being a dud, or like you put it on a scrappy sword and it's just very mediocre. But in a lot of scenarios, this is extreme. Durian Charm is extremely good. Speaking of extremely good, Flameblade Charm. I love this. One of my favorite charms in the game. So what makes Flameblade Charm good in this? So Flameblade Charm. Flameblade Charm replaces a unit's attack with Overburn. Also, I should have mentioned what Durian Charm does. I did not mention it. Durian Charm is 4 attack, gives a unit 4 attack, and removes all their effects. Okay. Basically makes their card text blink. Alright. Flameblade Charm here gets rid of a unit's attack and replaces it with the ability to apply Overburn equal to the attack lost. So, like, if you put this on a Graph goes from Frenzy 5 attack to Frenzy 5 Overburn, which is really good, because Overburn is really strong in this game. It is super duper strong. And what makes Flameblade Charm particularly good is you're able to Lumen Vase you're able to basically double the unit. Is with whatever unit you give this to, you're able to double that unit's damage output with Lumen Vase. So, like, if you have a Graph and you give it Lumen Vase, Flameblade, you're dealing like 20 Overburn. You're dealing 20 Overburn per trigger, which is enough to just, like, if you attack like twice, if you get him to attack twice and then use something like, and then use what card is it I'm thinking of? Azul Candle. You are very close to just insta-killing that whole insta-killing a Frost Brigade lane, which is really good. An entire Frost Brigade lane. Very, very good. And so for units you can actually put this on, there is Graf, previously mentioned Graf. There is... Who else is there? There is Bomb, who also... if you're able to give this to any unit with Barrage, it's really good. Barrage Overburn is extremely good. Because it's basically like Barrage squared. Because you're like you're hitting the whole lane, and then like one unit explodes, and then the others explodes, and their health is not low enough to where they explode, and then you just kill the whole lane, and then you're doing a little victory dance. It's super good. Bomb holds it incredibly, and a lot of leaders with just any amount of attack are able to hold this very well. It could be like 2 attack, and they hold this pretty well, because then you could limit. Yeah, very, very good. I love you, Flame Blade Charm, my beloved. Next up, we got Frenzy Charm. Frenzy Charm is... Frenzy Charm. Surprisingly, this only goes in fine. Surprisingly, this just goes in fine. Frenzy Charm on paper should be really good. Giving an item Frenzy and giving an item Frenzy on, like, there's so many items that you're basically doubling that card's effect, and which can be extremely strong. I mean, that's basically what critical does, and critical, you need setup. Critical, you need setup to, you need a crown, and you need a crown in order to get it to work. So, what gives? Why is critical, like, close to S tier? Well, Frenzy is honestly, I could put it, like, at the bottom of C tier, and people wouldn't be complaining. The problem with it is the effects, so the card effects you want to be doubling are consume effects. And, like, your Molten Dip, your Molten Dip, and your Snow Cake, cards like that, or your Snow Cake. Those are really good cards to get double effects out of. And you can give Frenzy Charm that effect, because Frenzy Charm applies consume, and you can't apply consume to a card that already has it. So it's just, there's not a lot of good targets for it. So it has to be like weak non-consume cards, like fucking Flame Water. You want to give this to a fucking Scrappy Sword, or like there's just off my head, like, really not that many, like, good targets for it. Nothing that where it really feels like this charm is making a difference. Now, there is, like, I'd say a good target for it is maybe Berry Bell. It's still not very good, because it's only, like, 2 HP to a whole lane, which I guess is fine. Yeah, it has a lot of problems. Charm just not a lot of targets for its immediately good effect. Also, this charm says, if you haven't said it yet, this charm is give an item Frenzy and consume. Next up, we got Frog Charm. Frog Charm gives a unit 3 Fury, which means if there are no other units in that lane, the unit with Fury will gain 3 attack. This is gonna go in C tier. So, Fury Charm, it's actually can be very, very good early, because, like, and it falls off a cliff in the late game. You're just not able to use this effect in the late game. Because if you have, any unit you want to, because with offensive units who you want to give this to, you want them to be in their own, you want them to, like, be hiding behind a tank, so that kills the effect, or you want them to be benefiting from, like, a clunker, like a mobile campfire, or Chrono, so that kills Fury. There's one unit who holds this charm better than any charm in the game. Who holds it better than any unit in the game. Say it with me now. It's Bomb Bomb. Bomb Bomb, and it's the same idea where Bomb Bomb just, you give Bomb Bomb any charm in the game, anything, and it's just, and she's just insane. So with Bomb Bomb, I actually think she's really not very good as, like, your sole, like, important unit, but she is definitely but if you don't think Bomb Bomb is the best, like, standalone unit in the game, she is the best supplemental unit in the game, because that's her job. She's supplemental, she helps you through the early game, and she takes stuff in the late game. Extremely, extremely good. And Fury Charm makes her a little better. It's also good on your Foxy, your Blunky, your Gnome, your Fizzle, your Wart, because you can usually get them to attack in the same lane while other units the enemy lane that they're attacking into while they're not attacking. So you're able to often get this effect to work if you, provided you don't have a clunker you want them to stand next to. So, and it's just, this charm's often dead in the late game, has a hard time, but it's pretty good in the early game, but it's also the problem that, like, early game charms are not great because you need to because it's hard to find them in the early game. Frost Hand Charm, another C tier charm. C tier, this charm it's just fine. This charm is really good when you put it on anything with barrage, because barraging 1 frost to a whole lane is pretty solid. It is very solid, very nice, very cool. Not much I can really say about it. Frost as an effect often has a hard time being substantial. So, but putting it on a unit who will just putting it on a unit that was just gonna passively apply that frost is pretty solid. Put this on a lot of units hold this. Any multi-hitting a barrage unit is gonna hold this quite nicely. Next up, we got Gnome Charm. Gnome Charm, another S tier. Gnome Charm, you put this on any unit with a big attack stat, it makes that unit, like, a lot better. Because Frenzy, very, very good in this game. One of the best, next to, like, minus turn counter, it's one of the best effects, and it's a lot more common effect, than -1 turn counter. And Gnome Charm, it's also that Gnome Charm, so the problem with Gnome Charm is that you're giving a unit aimless, but honestly, I often find the aimless is actually more helpful than it is detrimental, because you're hitting backline, because it gives you potential access to backline. Like, it potentially lets you kill, like, a Frost Bomber early, like, I think that was the music. The music or my voice. Okay, after this charm, I'm gonna go take a break to get some water. But Gnome Charm, you can pretty much put this on any offensive unit. It's gonna make them better. The only unit I don't know if that's super true with is Foxy, but it's still pretty good on Fox. You can still honestly play it on Foxy because Frenzy is good, and aimless can also potentially be good with access to backline. The only time it's not good is if there's, like, a spike unit or a smackback unit that you really just don't want to hit into. But, like, if the only time that's, like, you're super consistently gonna see spike units is in Bone Cats, and they're already applying aimless to you, so who cares? Yeah, great charm. This is also, wait, no, never mind. Yeah, very good charm. Very, very good charm. Yeah, let me pause real quick. And we are back. Alright, next up on the chopping block, we got Demonized Charm. Demonized Charm is very, very good. Not good enough to where I think I can put it into A tier, but definitely I think I will definitely put it at the top of B tier. Demonized Charm. What does this charm do? This charm applies when demonized. Very simple effect. Demonize doubles the damage, doubles the next hit of damage that unit takes. So what this is really, really good on is frenzy units. Because that unit that's applying demonize is gonna apply demonize with their first hits, and then their next hit is gonna deal double damage. So on frenzy units, it's a lot of additional damage, especially if they have like a lot of frenzy. Very, very good on any frenzy unit. It's like, and it's otherwise it's like okay. It's okay on like every other unit, every like non-frenzy units, and it's like decent on barrage units, but it is very, very good on frenzy units. Let's say I have like frenzy overburn or something, which case it's not very good, but yeah, great. Because I've had a lot of frenzy runs where like I got demon units with like a chrono that is only hitting twice, and then I get demonized charm and that's just like secure the damage I need to win. Secure the amount of damage I need to win. Very good point of extra damage. I don't think it's quite consistent enough because you're not always going to be running a frenzy. You're not always going to be running a frenzy build, or you're not always going to have a unit with frenzy that you can give this to, and that frenzy unit is not always going to benefit from demonize, like if I previously mentioned if you're doing overburn. But still very good. Alright, this is an interesting one. Next up we have Great Charm. So many are gonna see this and think, what are you talking? What is this man waffling about? Great Charm is an S tier charm. I have had so many times where Great Charm just absolutely carried my run. Because this is something you'll find with Wildfrost is when you have something you can build into, like a plan that can win and that you can build into, if you just play well enough, you will achieve it. And Great Charm, I think, personifies that. When you get Great Charm, you put it on any unit that's gonna attack. Put it on any units that's gonna attack, and you stockpile money. And that unit's gonna gain, like, minimum, like, have, like, 6 attack, which is enormous, or, like, upwards of, like, 10 attack. You're gonna deal 10 additional attack, which is extremely insane. Yeah, if you just... It is also amazing on your Blunkies, your Gnomes, your Foxy, your Fizzle, your Wart, your Chompom, your Snoof even. Yeah, just any unit. Hell, even like 4-turn counters can make 4-turn counter units can make this effect go crazy. Just extremely insane. So the problem with it is that if you don't have money, it doesn't do much. But especially late game, later fights give so much money to where if you just tell yourself, go into your shop, buy a crown, then just leave, you'll still have a lot of money left over. And you might be thinking, oh, you're gonna miss out on other charms. Great Charm is good enough, so good. Greed Charms, also, I should mention what Greed Charm does. Greed Charm gives a unit Greed, which means that for every 50 gold you have, they will deal 1 additional damage. So you're able to, like, stockpile money so that if you go past your shop and you don't and you only spend like 100 on a crown, and then you have like something like 300, like 200 left over. That's still really good. That's 4 attack for no cost. That's also gonna scale. That's also gonna scale more if you go into If you go into Frost Guardian, you're gaining money from that fight. You're getting upwards to like 100 to 150, so that attack is being pushed even further. So it's insane. It's to the point where I think the downside is like not worth it. As long as you're not just wasting your money on stuff you don't need, Great Charm will do you wonders. Next up, we got Yank Charm, going from a super cool S tier to a super lame F tier. I hate Yank. Yank Charm, fuck you. Fuck you, Yank Charm. You're a bitch. Why is Yank Charm a bitch? Well, it's cause when you see it in a charm machine, it wasn't Cake Charm. No, it wasn't a good charm. So what does Yank do? Yank, when you can only effectively be put on a item, and that means that item pulls a backline unit to the front. This is good on Frostbrigade. This actually can be good on Frostbrigade if you want to, for killing Frostjunker early, Frostjunker is probably the scariest unit in that fight if you don't freeze them. So Yank Charm being able to kill Frostjunker quick is pretty good. But the problem with it is it's bad. Oh, I accidentally put it away. Is that besides that, there's really not a lot of, it's very rarely gonna actually come in handy, and it's super, and like just playing like spending what you're all in a turn to just pull a unit to the front instead of like freezing a unit or buffing one of your units, or just like redrawing to look for more freeze. It's not good. It's not good. It's just not worth your time. It's very rarely worth your time. That's why I think Newman Yank, Grabber is a pretty good card, because it's Yank. It has the benefits of Yank, but on a Newman card, so you're able to do it for free and not waste your time. Yeah, Yank, very meh, extremely meh, which makes it F tier. With no way for it to like be crazy, to like do something really good for you, it's gonna be F tier. Next up, Lamp Charm. This will go into B tier. Lamp Charm. Give a unit. So this is a Shademancer exclusive. It applies 2 attack and 2 health. You put it on so you have to put this on a card that summons a shade, like Shade Wisp or Jun Mask or Follow Mask, and that shade that is summoned will. Oh, you could also put this on Egg. That counts as summoning, and the shade that will come out will have 2 attack, 2 health, which is very solid. Shades are extremely powerful in this game. Just being able to like put out a unit, just having like an endless supply of chump blocks is really good, and giving that unit 2 extra HP makes it even better for chunk blocking, and 2 extra attack makes it potentially useful if you want that unit to actually attack for you, which there are cases where you want like your Jun or your Follow to be able to be attacking. Hell, there's a lot of runs in this, especially if you're playing Van Jun, where that's the entire point of your run is buffing shades. Just took a drink of water there. Yeah, shades very strong. Making them stronger and just making them better is really good. Next up, Lumen Ring. Boosts the effects of a charm of any card or unit by 1. This is going in S tier. This is gonna sit right in S tier. This charm is, so let's just talk about this. One very common card you're gonna be seeing in your runs is Chrono, because it's available to all clans. Chrono is extremely good. You give Chrono Lumen Ring, you win, because then you're applying 2 Frenzy to your lane, to your whole lane, and then Chrono can you can Lumen Vase Chrono to make it apply 4 to the whole lane, which is absolutely bonkers. And this is just good on so many things. It's great on Snuffle, because Snuffle, it makes it so if you then Lumen Snuffle, that's another reason Lumen Ring is really good. It's really good for just because you're able to get a lot on any like one effect card. You're able to like make it 2 if you Lumen. You're able to make it 2 boost an effect base practically by 2 with Lumen Base, which is even better. So like any effect card unit with like a good effect, like Wart or Shen, or even Shen. Yeah, Shen. Even Shen, just like boosting his initial overburn by a little bit can be good. Just anything that, or your Molten Dip, or your Mobile Campfire. Did I always say Mobile Campfire? I might have. And this card, it's also like Lumen Ring is the only thing that can that sometimes make Frenzy Charm helpful. Honestly, I think I'm gonna put Frenzy. Now I think I'm gonna put Frenzy Charm in meh. It's just very rarely you're able to play this. But no, we're not talking about Frenzy Charm. We're talking about Lumen Ring. Lumen Ring. Nobody who's played this game is gonna be surprised by Lumen Ring being an S tier. Amazing thing. Next up, we got Moko Charm. Moko Charm is very close to S tier. Cause Frenzy, so Moko Charm says give a unit -1 attack, -1 health. Give it 1 Frenzy. This charm is, I think, I do put this in S tier. This does go in S tier. Very good. The problem with it that kind of, I don't know. I don't know. First, to me it sounds like I'm very split on either the tippy top of A tier or the tippy bottom. That's not a word. Or the bitty bottom? No. The bottom of S tier. Cause the problem with it is illegible on a lot of units. Though then I guess Gnome Charm. Yeah, no, I'm putting this. I think the sad thing with Moko Charm is ever since, so they recently changed the original effect. So Moko Charm was reworked. Like I think it was this patch to where this last patch. Oh wait, important thing to mention. This currently Wildfrost at the time of this recording, Wildfrost is in the 1.0.8 beta. So the beta where Frost for like the big Frost, the Frost difficulty system was introduced. Alright, where the big Frost system was introduced. So in that patch, Moko Charm was changed from -2 attack to -1 health, -1 attack. This, I think, overall probably made it better, but it did kill a synergy with the card Shellbow, which was 2 attack, apply 5 Shell Barrage. So it means that you were able to give Shellbow -2 attack and Frenzy. So Shellbow became 5 Shell Barrage, which unbelievably won your run. You literally could stand in the other side of the corner of your room, bash your head against the corner of it, come back, come back, swank widely on your desk to where you might be able to play. Uh, and if you had a chance to where when you like wildly hit your desk, if you hit Shellbow, you would win that fight. Five shell was 10 shell to a 10 effective health to a whole lane was insane. Insane to sand. You would never die. Hell, even if it was just on one unit, it would have been way too strong. It was way too strong. But to a whole lane, good lord. But, and it's basically that, this is good for the same reason I mentioned why Gnome Charm is good. Giving any offensive unit Frenzy, really, really good. Just really, really good. Oh, wait, another thing I forgot to mention with Gnome Charm. So this is also a Gnome Charm bit. With Gnome Charm, you could also put it on cards on certain items and be really good. Specifically, Shade Skulls or what's this? I forget the skull card. What the skull? The one that makes it so. That makes it that like you apply soulbound skulls. That's what it was. It's be really good on soulbound skulls. You can play Moku Charm, just great on any offensive unit. Excellent on any offensive unit. Really good. Next up, Molten Egg Charm. Molten Egg Charm is gonna go at the top of C tier. Yeah, top of C tier. Molten Egg Charm. Molten Egg Charm has Molten Egg Charm is give a item 5 attack and consume. This card, it's strong damage early, but again, it has the, like, charms aren't really there for your early game. They're more there for when you're able, they're more, like, things you find in your late game to make your run strong. And late game, 5 damage can like an item with 5 damage and consume is not very strong. It falls off. Now there are 2 items in the game that really like gaining attack, and that is Azure's Battle Axe and Slapcrackers. Slapcrackers attacks 4 times, so it's just giving an attack is, of course, really good. And Azul Battle Axe applies overburn equal to its damage dealt. So Azul Battle Axe becomes 8 damage, 8 overburn, which is effectively 16 damage, which is insanely good. But besides those 2 cards, no other item in the game really like benefits from getting increased damage, or at least like super benefits from it. Like the reason attack boosts for units are really good in this game are you're able to put them on, I've mentioned them so many times in this video, because on your Foxy, your Blunky, your Gnome, because you're able to give, those units are insanely good because they're able to like abuse that extra attack. You can't really abuse that same attack with a card, even if it's like a lot of attack. And it's also that you only get to use that card once. So, yeah, it falls off. It's okay, but it's a little meh. But some very good cards it can be given to. And overall, it's fine. Next up, Moose Charm. Moose Charm is also fine. Moose Charm is hard to play. So, I've mentioned again that -1 turn counter is one of the best effects in the game. +1 turn counter is one of the worst downsides of the game. It is absolutely terrible. Now, but Moose Charm gives 3 attack, which is good. It is quite good. To where a lot of the times There is, so with units in this game, you really don't want to give this to anything with like with like 4 turn counter or less. Unless they have like an effect that really benefits from attack, like Bomb Bomb. Like Bomb Bomb with her barrage. Also, Bomb Bomb with her barrage, or Snobble, who gains more snow from attacking. Or you don't really want to put this, like, it's fine, because you don't want to put this on like Blunky or Foxy, because those units are good because of their low turn counters. So you don't want to be boosting their turn counter, even if for attack. It's hard to play. Mainly, my concept of this card is you don't want to be playing this on your main offensive card. Otherwise, you're basically just nerfing that card. What you want to play this on is your supplemental tank, because, or either your supplemental tank or your leader, if your leader isn't your main offensive unit. Cause you don't really care about them hitting a bunch of times, so making the few times they do attack more meaty is pretty decent. Overall, pretty hard to use Moose Charm, but when you're able to use it, it's quite nice. When you are able to use it on like a supplemental tank, on like your Bomb Bomb or your supplemental or support unit, like your Bomb Bomb, hell, even on Shelly, it's pretty decent. Or your Snobble, it's pretty okay. Next up, Noomlin. This is S tier. Any questions? I love Noomlin Charm, one of the cool, hypest charms to see in the game. Noomlin Charm, you are able to... So, Noomlin Charm has the thing where it's by far the best card in the game the best card in the best charm in the game that can only really be given to items. You can put this on like a unit or a clunker, but it's not that good. And you're gonna gain more use because you're only playing that clunker or unit once, while with an item, you're gonna be playing that item likely multiple times. So multiple times you're able to get that free act. Oh yeah, Noomlin, this gives an item or unit Noomlin, which means when you play it, it does not count down turn count. It does not count down turn counters. It does not count down everyone's turn counters, so it basically means you get to play for free. So, yeah, very good. You put this on your snow card, it's really good. And the fact that you can put this on an item means if you see this, you can, like, pretty much take any Shade Sculptor you see on the map, or Shade Sculptors are the one that allow you to duplicate items in your deck. You're able to, like, get a couple copies of, like, a Noomlin Berry Bell, or not a Noomlin Berry Bell, Noomlin Pinkberry Juice, a Noomlin Shell Shield, a Noomlin Snow Stick, a Noomlin Snow Globe, a Noomlin, just any Noomlin card, duplicating any Noomlin card, so where you're just like, redraw, play 2 Noomlin cards, redraw, play a Noomlin card, redraw, play 2 Noomlin cards, it's a very easy way to win. Extremely, extremely, extremely good. Alright, Pingu Charm is F tier. Any questions? Okay. Pingu Charm has one unit it can be played on, and that's Tinkerson Jr. I hate Tinkerson Jr. I hate Tinkerson Jr. I hate that unit so much. But yeah, so Pingu Charm, let me talk about what Pingu Charm actually does. Pingu Charm has the effect of, when you give it to a unit, whenever that unit gains snow, they gain attack equal to snow applied to them. The ways this sucks. So, even just the idea of snowing a unit to make them stronger is counterproductive. It's counterintuitive. Because, I've mentioned before, turn counter is like almost everything to in this game. So like freezing your unit's turn counter so they can deal more damage when they unthaw is doesn't make sense, because throughout that whole fight, they probably would have just dealt more damage if they weren't frozen, because they would have activated more. So now, and the only unit and the reason Tinkerson Jr. is the only unit you can play this on is because you don't care about Tinkerson Jr. attacking. So if you get Snowcake, like Snowcake and you play it on Tinkerson Jr., then you're able to get then Tinkerson Jr. gains like 13 attack and is able to give that attack to Junkin's hand, which is okay. But it's also like the kind of thing where in order to get that big effect off, you need to be playing Snowcake. You need to play Snowcake on Tinkerson Jr. to where you'd honestly probably be getting the same, like an equally strong effect if you just played it on an enemy. Just locked an enemy out of the fight. Yeah. It's just bad. And it's pretty much unplayable on any unit besides Tinkerson. And it's also, the other issue is that Tinkerson Jr. on his own is really, really bad, in my opinion. Just really, really bad. Just terrible. Don't play Tinkerson Jr. You deserve better. The Tinkerson Jr. is terrible, and it's only good with a terrible charm. So that's why. So it doesn't really boost. Even though it can kind of become run winning. It can kind of become run winning. It's just it's bad. Trust me. Next up, we got Peppernut Charm, another F tier charm. Would you look at that? Peppernut Charm. So Peppernut Charm says, when a unit gains shield, they gain spice instead. And this is exclusive, of course, exclusive to Snow Dwellers. So the reason this is bad is very simple. Shield is way better than spice. Just straight up. Giving a unit temporary attack is much worse. Will almost always be worse than giving that unit permanent sustain. Cause it's simple. Why? Cause what am I trying to say? God, this video's been going for a long time. I'm losing my train of thought, man. But anyway, Peppernut, there's like, even if you're on your offensive unit, you probably want to give them like spice. You probably want to give them like shell anyway in case so they don't get sniped. And they're really not going to be. And it's also that even if it was just like, just like that unit attacking only once with the spice is just like, it's gone, it's over. Well, you permanently gain use out of the shell. And it's also the bad thing, because if you put this on a unit, they can't gain shell, and shell is a very important and powerful form of sustain in Clunk Masters. So yeah, you just applying spice at the risk. So, and it's also could be, well, what if you don't have shell in your deck? So what if you don't have shell in your deck? Well, if you had that thought like I just did, then you're also an idiot. Because then you can't get any use out of this. You can't get any use out of Peppernut. It's like, what the fuck? In all my time playing this game, I've only had one. There's only been one time when I was able to get use out of this. Yeah, just very bad. Next up, Pinch Charm. Now, a lot of people would think I would put Pinch Charm in, like, F tier or D tier. Nah, man, I'm putting that shit in, like, high B tier. Okay, not but that shouldn't be tier. Pinch Charm. Pinch Charm is one of the most deceptively strong charms in the game. It's really good. Why? Why is it good? Cause card draw is really good. So there are in the game, there are very few ways to actually draw cards. Like draw cards outside of just hitting the redraw bell. You have basically it's just Sneasel. Sneasel, your starting pet that gets hit when they draws you one card when they get hit. It's only that. That unit's like okay. Pinch Charm on the other. Pinch Charm. Yeah, just card draw can be really strong because it allows you to cycle through your deck faster. It gets you back to your freeze card. Because cycling through your deck's really strong in this game because it means you are able to play your freeze cards more often. Any card that applies snow, you want to be playing as much as possible, and Pinch Charm makes that easier. It also makes it easier to get out to your important cards, like your important cards that are not already crowned, like your Molten Dip or your Snow Cake or your Berry Juice. Yeah, great. Excellent charm. Okay, well, not excellent. It's very good. Now the Pinch Charm does have the problem of it is an on-kill effect, which means you can't really use it on final fight. But at that point, you should have enough crowns to where you don't really need Pinch Charm anymore. So to where you're able to get all the cards you need to play out quickly. And even then, it can still help you draw through your deck a little bit. It's also that if you give a unit Lumen, which you'd only do if it's they already had a good effect that you would want to Lumen, like Shen. You want to Lumen Shen. And then if you get Shen Pinch Charm with Lumen Ring, Shen kills 2 units and draws your entire deck. It's hilarious. It's very funny. Yeah, but it also has the problem that it doesn't actually on surface, it doesn't contribute anything to that unit's survivability, but it really does, because again, it's letting you draw to your freeze cards faster, which means it helps their survivability. So, or it helps them draw to cards that's going to help them deal more damage, like a Proto Stomper, so you can kill that kill that Makoko that you can't reach, or it lets you draw to that Snow Cake, so you can, or it lets you draw to that Molten Dip, so you can give it to your Foxy, or lets you draw to your Azul Battle Axe, so you can or hell, it can draw you to your Tiger Skull, so you can give a unit Teeth to help against pigs. Yeah, very good. Definitely give it don't be shy to give this one a try. And also, I'm gonna take a small break and then be back in. Or gonna take a small break and then, yeah, my break will be over now. All right, just took a little walk and yeah, feeling better. Let's do this. All right, next up we got another S tier charm in Barrage Charm. Okay, so I said that Frenzy and -1 turn counter are good effects. Barrage is it's crazy. Barrage on any unit you can play it on just makes them an absolute monster, especially if you can boost their attack. Barrage is one of the strongest effects in the game. You're able to kill. You literally just give enough attack, you just kill an entire lane. It lets you access backlines. This is good in pretty much. Okay, can be bad. The only time this is not good is if you literally just can't play it on any unit, in which case, fine. There will be runs when you can't play it, but when you just In that case, I'll probably put it below everything, below the others. Because this is, in every sense, a run-winning charm, if you're able to play it. And so yeah, insanely good. Barrage, just being able to target backline, be able to hit everything in a lane. Because Barrage Charm kind of puts the idea of the best offense, or the best defense is a good offense, because you're just able to kill all the units that are dealing damage to you in the first place. So, like, who cares? Who cares? They can't hurt you. They can't hurt you if they're dead. Next up, we got Smackback Charm. Smackback Charm, well, there was a time I thought this was the best charm in the game. Now I think it's at the bottom of S tier. Smackback Charm is kind of just like, Smackback Charms can be kind of hard to play sometimes, but when you are able to play it just like Barrage Charm, it can easily win your run. Gives another card that gives you access to the backlines. It gives you great access to backlines. It's very good. Smackback will do everything you need it to do when you can play it. Okay, not really, actually. Smackback, let me formulate. So you need a unit with both high HP to where you need a unit with good attack, and you also need it. You need to give them health. You need a way to keep. You need sustain so they can keep smackbacking. Unit, probably the best charm you can. Probably the best unit you can put this on is my homeboy Shen. Shen fucking like Shen fucks for and with smackback. He loves it. Other units that a lot of leaders use this very well. A lot of Mini Mika can use this very well. Nam and Stompy can use this extremely well. Bomb Bomb with Durian Charm can use this well. There's any unit that can survive an attack and can meaningfully do something when they attack. Big Bear is another good unit. Any unit that has the HP to survive an attack, the HP to survive attacks, and meaningfully achieve something when they attack that unit back is good with Smackback Charm, and there are quite a bit of those. Next up, going from the S tier to the F tier, we got Recycle Charm. Ugh. So, Recycle Charm says, give a card Recycle for 3 attack. Now, I mentioned earlier why giving attack to cards is not that strong, especially since, and Recycle Charm is even less attack, but the thing I said was that there's only really 2 cards in the game that really like gaining attack, and that's Azul Battle Axe and Slapcrackers. You can't really play Recycle Charm on either of those, because Azul Battle Axe is not in Clunk Masters, so you can only see it from Gnome Traveler, which, like, is extraordinarily inconsistent. And Slapcrackers, you need 4 different junks in your hand in order to play Slapcrackers. So, yeah, the card basically says you can give this to a Gear Hammer, and it'll just kind of be there, and maybe get rid of maybe destroy a junk if you need it for your junk destruction, your amazing junk destruction builds, which are rarely ever good. It's just terrible. What else can I say? Another med charm we got here. We got Scrap Charm. Scrap Charm says, Scrap Charm, you give a clunker 1 scrap. You give this to your Chrono or your mobile campfire, or You give it to those units, or your Gacha Pumper, you give it to those units, and they're able to survive an attack from something that can target backlines, like Frost Bomber. Aside from that, it really doesn't do much. I guess you could maybe play this on, like, ICGM if you found some way to activate that card's effect, but, yeah, that unit's not really known. Their unit's not really known for its effect. It's more just known for having 4 scrap. I mean, I guess you could also play this on ICGM so they can take an extra hit, but it's the same reason why Block Charm's not that crazy. In fact, this is just worse. This is just, by every measure, worse Block Charm. Because with Block Charm, you can at least play it on units, while you can only play this on clunkers. Yeah, it's not very good. And in the situations where you have the Chrono or the Gacha Pumper, it's not substantial enough to where I think it warrants being higher than the D tier. Next up, we got Shell. Next up, we got, I forget what this one's called, but this is gain 3 shield Shell on kill. So you think this be like in the same tier as you think this would be like similar to Cloudberry Charm, to where like you're gaining sustain from getting kills, but no, this is way better. This is like a million times better than, actually a million times better than Cloudberry Charm. This is gonna go here. But I actually think, yeah, this is gonna go like near the top of C tier. Why? Because it doesn't have it's one extra point of like healing than Cloudberry, but more importantly, it's not shit. Your unit doesn't have to be damaged to receive the effects, so you can very easily just put this on like your main damage dealer, and they'll just gain like passive shield, making them not die. And remember, shield, actually I might even put this, I don't think I can put this higher. Maybe I do put this higher, because I did put yeah, I did put Pinch Charm. This is gonna go right next to Pinch Charm. I don't think it's as good as Pinch Charm, but yeah, this is actually this is a very good charm. Very good. The only problem is that it's an on-kill effect, so it's not very good for the final fight. I guess that is true, because if you do have to kind of rely on this at the final fight, if you are kind of relying on this for sustain, you are kind of screwed for final fight. I think I'm gonna move Block Charm here. I think it's fine. I'll move it to the bottom of B tier. It might go higher. Next up, we got Poison Charm. So Poison Charm is kind of only good. So Poison Charm means a unit applies 1 poison. This is only really good if you're able to put this on a unit with Frenzy or a Illumined unit. Otherwise, it's basically just 1 damage, because you need to hit multiple times in order to like make it so you can actually stack poison. So this is really good on like a Foxy. This is really good on very good on Wart, actually. Yeah, and it's on, if you are able to get this on a Frenzy unit, it's pretty solid. It's a solid little bit of extra damage. But overall, not great. But overall, it's mainly just fine. Next up, Snowball Charm. This is an A tier charm. I think Snowball Charm is insane. I think Snowball Charm is absolutely bonkers. Because snow it's very important in this game. It is so goddamn important to have like a meaningful way of applying snow in this game. It is to have like a good method, like snow stick. And that's why I think Clunk Masters is one of the worst clans probably the worst clan, is because they have definitely have the easily have the worst. They easily have the worst time applying snow in all the games in of all the clans, because like both Shademancers, and both Snow Dwellers and Shademasters have better starting snow cards, and Shademasters have Yeti Skull, which is insane, which is like one of the best cards in the game in my opinion, while Clunkmasters have a Super Snower, which is very sad. But yeah, if you're able to like put this on any unit, especially if it's like able to hit backlines, if able to hit fast, it's just incredible at like stopping the enemy's turn counters. And this also has it to where you can play any units that have this can hit into a smackback unit and not be afraid, because they'll be freeze before that unit will be snowed before they can smack back, so it's really good for that. Yeah, if you're able to play this on any this is even good on a fucking Scrappy Sword, because any amount of snow is good in this game, and Snowball Charm's just nutty. Next up, Spark Charm. Spark Charm is probably a better charm than I give it credit, but I'm still putting it in C tier. It's still going in C tier. I've rarely the fact that you can't recall units doesn't really matter, but I've just rarely had this charm like do anything notable for me, except if it was like Snuffle. This is really good. This is actually really good on Snuffle, and any other unit that's able to apply snow, because you're immediately able to get that snow started, and like possibly it helps a lot in like any unit that can like perma snow. So you're just getting that effect off. Yeah, but other than that, just really have not had it done much. It's also like a problem with it is there's a lot of times where like you need to buff a unit in hand. You need to buff the unit in hand in order to get the effect, in order to get the most value out of it, and then you play it, and then it does its effect, and then it triggers, and then it does like you need if you have like a Blunky and you have it with Spark Charm and you want it to do like a big effect, then it needs to already be buffed, because it's just gonna hit the field with like one attack before you can like do like 3 damage, and that's the spark. It's probably better than I give it credit, because it's probably easier to set up like a really good spark turns, but overall have not done anything too substantial for me, but perfectly fine. Also, Spark says when you play the unit it triggers, but you can't recall that unit. It's fine. Next up, we have Spice Charm. Spice Charm says when a unit gets hit, apply 2 spice. Or they gain 2 spice. Saying apply means that the enemies receive 2 spice, which would be pretty bad. Right now, it is pretty bad. Okay. This is gonna be a controversial one. I've never had Spice Charm do, like... Spice... this is probably better than I think it is. But Spice Charm, I've never really have it done anything. Because, like, the problem with Spice... There's also another problem with Peppernut Charm. Is that you need... In order for Spice to be at all good, you need Pepper Flag. Spice without Pepper Flag is, like, fucking... like a bicycle without wheels. You're not going anywhere. So, you need Pepper Flag in order to make this charm good. And it's just like, I've just never had this feel good. Like, I put this on a unit and I've just never had it feel good. That's kind of just my whole reasoning. That's not satisfactory. Yeah, that's kind of just my whole reasoning. Next up, we have Ink Charm. Ink Charm is not as good. I don't think Ink is anywhere as the music stop. Hold up. Ink, personally, I don't think is anywhere as good as Snow. I think is not anywhere as good as Snow. So, but I do think it can be. It definitely is good. It has the same niche. It has the same use as. It's the same use as snowball charm, where it's like units that have this can attack freely into smackback units. If you put this on a barrage unit, it's very good. It's pretty good on Frost. It's very good on Frost. And actually, maybe I put this in excellent. I'm gonna put this near the top of B tier. I don't think I haven't seen it done enough. I haven't done enough of this with Squidskill Charm to say that it belongs in A tier along the other A tier picks, but definitely very good, very solid. Do not sleep on this, because Ink can still be very strong. Great on Frost Brigade. Just very good, especially if you can have Barrage. Now, I've actually had times where the Ink kind of has screwed me over. In some situations where I got rid of, like, King Moko's effect. And then I just die. But don't sleep on this charm. It's pretty good. So I've mentioned many times in this video how +1 turn counter or -1 turn counter is really good. This is going into S tier. This on any offensive unit makes them insane. Like, especially if you put this on Blunky. Blunky becomes like one of the best offensive units one of the best damage dealers in the game if you give it Sun. If you give him Sun Charm. I think this belongs here. Extremely just you're so happy whenever you see this. There's pretty much not a run. There is no unit in the game that the only unit that you don't really care for this on is Numb and Stompy. That's really it. Oh, I should have mentioned with Moose Charm. Moose Charm also is really good on Numb and Stompy. Okay, back to Sun Charm. That you really don't care about it that much on Numb and Stompy, because it doesn't really make a very big difference on that unit. On any other unit in the game, it's so good for them. It's so good. You put it on Snoof. Snoof is almost able to lock out it to permafrost an enemy. You put it on something like put it on Blunky. Blunky kills everything. You put it on Foxy. Foxy kills everything. You put it on your leader. Your leader kills everything. It's so there's so many effects in this game that benefit from like you attacking quickly, like Snowball Charm, like Flame Blade Charm, Great Charm, any attack boost. And just being able to attack quicker is insanely good. Insanely good. Going from possibly one of the best charms in the game to the worst. In my opinion, I think Junk Charm is the worst charm in the game. Junk Charm says whenever a unit or item triggers, you gain 1 junk. What the fuck? Junk? So, this kind of boils down, why this is bad boils down to why I think junk is not very good. Because, let's say you want to add junk to your deck to trigger, certain effects, like to trigger cards with recycle. Problem with that is a lot of the recycle cards aren't very good. And, especially, like, the expensive ones. The only good one that requires 2 junk in order to play is Haze Keg. All the other ones are very mediocre. And the only other besides Haze Keg, the only other good recycle card in the game is Sun Cream. And Sun Cream only needs 1 junk, so you don't need to be adding a lot of junk to your deck in order to play that. Literally, the 1 junk you get at the start of the permanent junk you get at the start of each run is usually enough to play Sun Cream. Uh, yeah, this chart just there's no benefit, and like you put this on a unit who's like triggering even a little bit, and then your deck is just all junk, and it's terrible. This is like you're actively sabotaging yourself in longer fights because you're just filling your deck up with junk that you can't play. And like cards in the game, there's like any cards that does have junk like have really strong effects, like Bomb Barrel and Proto Stomper, that like they have that junk as a downside. So like why the fuck are you giving a unit junk? Why are you giving them that downside for no benefit? Worst charm in the game. Absolute ass. Next up, we got Truffle Charm. Truffle Charm is very solid. Truffle Charm has the problem where it's kind of hard to play on units because of the -2. But if you're able to play this on like Wart or a leader, or a good leader, or Foxy, it's very solid. It's very solid damage. I'm going to put this right next to Battle Charm because it kind of fulfills the same purpose. I think Battle Charm being a little bit more splashable makes it better. But if you get this on a Barrage unit, it's really good. If you get this on a Smackback unit, it's not actually that good. Get this on... Yeah, it's just very good. Very good. Very good. 3 poison, especially if you Lumen Vase that poison, is a lot of poison. That's 6 poison. And you put that on Wart. Wart is just able... Then you get like the good poison... You get like the good poison support, like you get Fungo Blaster or Shroominator. It's so much poison. Great, good on Final Fight. It's good for putting on like a Foxy to like make them be able to shred like a single unit. Very good, very good. All right, as our final charm in the game, we have Weakness Charm. Ending on a bit of a sour note, I guess. D tier. This charm has the issue of being bad. So, okay, actually, so at first glance, didn't mean to do that. At first glance, this may seem like the absolute, say like, what unit, why the hell would you want to play this on anything? -2 attack, what the fuck? Give your units attack, you don't want to take it away. Well, there's 2 cards in the game that this is really good with, actually. Pepper Reaper and Shellbow. Both of those... Oh, nice voice crack. First voice crack in the video, and it's at the end. That's at least good. Both of those units, or both of those items, deal 2 damage. Are basically like 2 damage attacks that you want to use on your own units, because they also have very strong effects. Shellbow applies 5 shell, while Pepper Reaper applies... for 4 spice. 4 spice is very solid even outside of spice builds. And 5 shell with Shellbow, especially since it's Barrage, is extremely good. It's almost reminiscent of like the old Moko Charm Shellboat's days, where you just had like a completely unkillable board, and then you also had like Shellbow or Chompom, who just had like 1,000,000 shell and just like one-shot the entire board. Very, very, very good on those 2. Or very, very good on Shellbow, pretty good on Pepper Reaper. Besides that, you can't play this on anything else. Which is why it's D tier. Most of the vast majority of the time, this is a dead charm. And anyway, that's it for the tier list. Wildfrost has such a cool... Charms in this game are such a cool, like, form of upgrading them, because they're so wild. It's basically it's like a gacha game, but fun with charms. And it's also like even though you can low roll to get, like, some of these awful charms, I honestly I actually just kind of like it in a way, because you can't rely on charms as your end-all be-all strategy. In fact, overall, I'd say charms can actually be kind of unreliable, because you can get these terrible charms. Or only, like, these fine charms when you really need these, like, amazing charms. But I find it fun, because you gotta adapt on the fly. And it's also mean, like, sometimes you do just hit the when you do just hit the S tiers, you sit back and drink a latte. But yeah, thank you guys for 100 subscribers. Thank you so much for that. Let me know about your idea. Let me know about your thoughts on the tier list in the comments below. This was fun to make. If you guys want me to make more tier lists, for this game on like the units, the combats, the items, just I'd be down to. Yeah, very fun to do this. Very fun to do this. Thank you guys for being around. If you guys like this video, make sure to like and or comment and or subscribe. Make sure to share this video with your best friend or greatest enemy, and I'll catch you guys later.